What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So as promised, we're going to talk about the Modern Warfare 2 Remaster, the hypothetical Modern Warfare 2 Remastered that I think is inevitable at this point, considering how much backlash Call of Duty is getting over the Black Ops 7 reveal event. And the last time we had this much backlash, Call of Duty called on COD 4 Remastered to bail them out, and it sort of kind of worked. So I could easily see them pulling the same move this time around with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. So a quick little history here. In 2019, we got the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster. And for all of you who are confused why we only got the campaign, Activision was so greedy that they were going to break it up into two, the campaign and the multiplayer, to sell it to you twice just to make a little bit more money. I know it's disgusting and greedy, but it's Activision we're talking about. But what happened in between releasing that campaign and the multiplayer that we never got was two things, or actually three things: Modern Warfare 2019, Warzone, and COVID. So you're probably wondering, what in the heck, those three things? How did that stop it? Well, what happened is 2019 came out, and this was coming off of Infinite Warfare. They were trying something different. They were trying anything that would work. They were just throwing everything at the wall and just to see what would stick. And the community surprisingly had a well reception to 2019, which I don't know if they were expecting that or not, but it was somewhat popular when it first came out. And then Warzone came out, and that was kind of like the response to Fortnite. It was a free-to-play battle royale, and the verdict wasn't yet out on Warzone, but then shortly after COVID hit, and then everyone was on quarantine, so everybody was stuck inside, and they were forced to download Warzone because it was free, and and then that's when it blew up. And so since 2019 did fairly well, it was fairly popular, and Warzone was blowing up, they said, okay, screw that. We don't need to worry about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. We finally found something that works. So that's why that project never came to fruition. But now I think is as good a time as any for us to get the remaster. The game's 15 years old, so it'd be a good time to do it. So I kind of want to talk about how, like, I want to see the game remastered, maybe things that they should change or they shouldn't change, that kind of thing. So there is a lot of debate when it comes to remasters. You have two groups of people. You have one group that say, do not change anything at all, or else you will ruin the game. You can't fundamentally change the game at all. Then there's the other group who say, yeah, remastering is a chance to fix some of the problems of the game, but to give it new life at the same time. And usually I'm in the camp of the don't change anything. I'm on their side usually. But in this instance, I think that there does need to be a couple changes to the game. And I think we all kind of know what I'm going to say next, the noob tubes. They were completely broken and out of control, and I have read things over the years that the developers were going to nerf it at one point, but then they had that whole falling out or that lawsuit or whatever happened, and half the team quit. So it just never happened. But I think we all kind of know it has to happen, because if you try to play a game now, like here I'm playing a game on Carnival. Luckily, it wasn't that bad tonight, but usually it's just total chaos, and that's all anybody wants to do is NoobTube, and it just completely ruins the game, and it's not fun at all. And I think the majority of us agree that it would need to be nerfed in a remaster. So that's one of the first things I would change about the game. Another thing is the claymores. I know this is kind of like a small thing to a lot of people, but the claymores don't work, okay? They either will not go off at all, or maybe somebody runs through the door and you get a hit marker on them and they don't die. You should not be getting hit markers with claymores. If you run through a claymore in real life, you are not surviving that. So we need to fix the claymores, make them actually kill. And then another problem that really hurts the game, especially nowadays, I notice this a lot, is the timing for team deathmatch and domination. So domination, you might get a 10-minute match if you're lucky, but it's usually over within 6 to 7 minutes. Team deathmatch can be even like 5 to 6 minutes. That's way too short. So for team deathmatch, we need to get rid of the time limit. There should never be a time limit. If you have a score limit, that should be the only limit you need. There's no need to have a score and a time limit. So get rid of the time limit, and then maybe change the score limit from 7,500, which is that's where it is now, to maybe like 10,000. I could see that adding a good chunk of time to the game, but not being too long. I don't know. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that. And then domination. There is a time limit, I think. I don't remember. No, there's a time limit. And the score for the flags is 200. Of course, that's too short. So some people have suggested maybe bumping it up to 250 or 300. And I've seen some people say just keep it at 200, but just make it like the time when it records the score from the amount of flags you have. Make that duration longer. I would be fine with either one, just as long as the games last longer. Because a lot of the times what happens, like especially nowadays when I'm going for a nuke, is I'll be in my chopper gunner and we'll run out of time. And that's just the most unsatisfying thing, to not get a nuke because you ran out of time. And then I could see, like, maybe adding kill confirmed or hardpoint. And the reason being that, because those game modes are fun, obviously, but if you're one of the people who don't want the game to change, all you have to do is not play those game modes and you're fine. And then the people who do want to play them get to play them. It really hurts nobody and it benefits everybody. So I could see them adding that, especially hardpoint, because that kind of took over in the later years of Call of Duty as being like the go-to game mode. It kind of replaced domination, if you will. And kill confirmed is just I feel like it's just a team deathmatch with a little bit more of an objective. So I would really like to see kill confirmed come to this game. And then obviously, since the game's being remastered, we need to get all the DLC maps at launch, and probably maybe like a 30 or 40. Well, who am I kidding? They're going to package it in with Black Ops 7, and it's not going to be sold separately till probably the next year. But if I had my way, I would want the game to be sold separately for probably like $30, since I believe if you've already bought a game once, if you're buying it again, it should be at least half off. And yeah, for the people saying that I shouldn't buy the game just for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna buy it because Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite game. So, and I've been waiting for this remaster forever. So unfortunately, that'll be the one way that I actually buy Black Ops 7. And then this is crucial, you guys, this next point, because this is what took down COD 4 Remastered. They cannot be adding any DLC guns. That was just a terrible thing for COD 4 Remastered. That's when I had to stop playing it, when they started adding DLC weapons, because it just fundamentally changed the game to the point where it was not the same game that it was in 2007. And then obviously, if we're not adding new guns, there cannot be any kind of microtransactions, supply drops, any of that garbage that has plagued Call of Duty ever since the 8th gen. We can't have any of that crap in it. If you're going to do that, just don't bother. I don't want to see my favorite game get completely tainted. And then, finally, we all hate Spec Ops. I especially hate Spec Ops because I'm forced into playing it every time we get a Modern Warfare for the achievements. I hate Spec Ops. Please don't bring that shit back, because then I'll have to play it again for the achievements. If you're going to give us a co-op mode, why not give us something else? Or maybe something completely new. Or, hey, here's a good idea. How about give us the sequel to Extinction from Call of Duty Ghosts? Extinction was arguably the second best co-op mode we've ever seen in Call of Duty. Obviously second to Treyarch Zombies. And we never got to see a conclusion to it. So that would be really fun to have Extinction 2.0. But I'm sure that'll fall on deaf ears and we'll get nothing of the sort. But anyways, you guys, I'm very excited for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. At this point, I would say it's more likely than not that we will get it, but I'm not going to say that it's guaranteed. I probably have it at 60-40 right now, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this, so let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.